Anthropic just acquired Stainless, and this is much bigger than a normal startup acquisition. Anthropic's official post says the frontier of AI is shifting from models that answer to agents that act. That one sentence is the whole story. If agents are supposed to act, they need reliable ways to touch real software: APIs, SDKs, command line tools, connectors, and MCP servers. Stainless sits exactly in that layer. So this is not just Anthropic buying a developer tooling company. It is Anthropic buying part of the nervous system that lets Claude reach outside the chat window.
The key line in Anthropic's announcement is that agents are only as capable as the systems they can reach. Stainless has powered every official Anthropic SDK since the early days of the API. Anthropic also says hundreds of companies rely on Stainless to generate SDKs, CLIs, and MCP servers. That means this acquisition is about reach. Claude can be extremely smart, but if the connection to a company's API is awkward, incomplete, or unsafe, the agent still fails in the real workflow. Stainless is interesting because it turns API specs into the pieces developers actually use. Its homepage talks about SDKs, documentation, and state-of-the-art MCP servers, all derived from an OpenAPI spec. The language list is not a small detail either: TypeScript, Python, Go, Java, Kotlin, Ruby, Terraform, C#, PHP, and more. For humans, that means APIs feel native in the language they already use. For agents, it means the action surface becomes structured, typed, documented, and much less fragile. This is why the deal matters for the broader agent market. Most demos make agents look like magic, but production agents hit boring walls. The API is inconsistent, the docs are stale, the auth flow is weird, the tool schema is too broad, the model calls the wrong endpoint or sends a field in the wrong shape. A polished SDK and MCP layer does not sound as exciting as a new model benchmark, but it is what turns a clever assistant into something that can safely update a ticket, pull a report, create a customer record, or trigger a workflow. The underrated part is verification. If the agent can see a type request, a type response, examples, error states, and permission boundaries, it can reason about the action before it takes it. The MCP part is the biggest signal. MCP is described as an open standard for connecting AI applications to external systems, files, databases, tools, and workflows. The docs compare it to a USB-C port for AI applications. That analogy is not hype. If every agent and every tool speaks a different integration language, the ecosystem fragments. If there is a standard connector layer, agents can become portable across apps, IDEs, internal tools, and enterprise systems. The Stainless blog adds an important wrinkle. It says the company will focus on Claude Platform capabilities and connecting agents to APIs while winding down hosted Stainless products, including the SDK generator. That is a serious product shift. It suggests the Stainless team isn't just continuing as an independent tool next to Anthropic. The work is being pulled into Claude's platform direction. For customers, that transition matters. Some teams will have to plan for a product sunset, but the bigger signal is where the talent is going. For the market, it says Anthropic wants agent connectivity closer to the core product, not bolted on later by each customer. This also tells us where the competitive race is going. The first phase was model quality. The second phase was apps and coding agents. The next phase is connection quality. Which assistant can safely understand your data, call your tools, obey permissions, and leave reliable traces? That is why Anthropic created MCP, why Stainless built MCP tooling, and why this acquisition makes strategic sense. The model is the brain, but the API layer is how the agent gets hands. And this is exactly where enterprise adoption usually gets stuck. Not at the demo, but at security review, integration work, and trust that the same action will run correctly every time. So the takeaway is simple. Anthropic did not just buy a company that makes nicer SDKs. It bought a team that understands how software systems expose themselves to developers, and now to agents. In the old world, developer experience meant humans could call your API without pain. In the new world, agent experience means models can understand, call, verify, and chain those APIs without breaking the workflow. If Claude is going to become a serious work agent, this layer matters as much as the model response. The future of agents is not only smarter text, it is safer, cleaner, more reliable access to the systems where work actually happens.